Welcome back, everyone. Today I want to count down the top 10 worst songs of the 2000s. So what did the turn of the millennium have? Well, I thought pop was all over the place, but I think the genre that suffered the most was hip-hop. Because there was a major identity crisis for that genre, and it showed in the second half of the decade. And yes, I'm talking about the ringtone era of rap, one of the worst eras for that genre. Hell, half the songs on this list mostly come from hip-hop. Same qualifications for the best worst list of the 90s. And before we begin, let me break everyone's heart that Nickelback isn't on this list because I don't have a nostalgia for that band. So without further ado, here are the top 10 worst songs of the 2000s decade. Before we begin, if you want to see music bios or more good videos like this, hit the subscribe button. Also, I've started a Patreon account. On here you get more copyrighted material and they'll be uploaded 48 hours prior to YouTube. If you want to support or visit, link is in the description. And without further ado, on to our feature presentation. Before we begin, let's take a look at the first batch of our Dishonorable Mentions.
Wish for you on a falling star, wondering where you are.
Oh look, the same guys who made that stupid Summer Girls song is back. But I'll give them this. It's better than Summer Girls, but that's a very low bar to begin with.
No chains to unlock, so free to do what he...
Mostly on here on production alone, and it gives me a headache whenever I hear this.
All of the things that you said, what about all the promises that you made? What about...
I've recently watched a couple lists include this song, and it wasn't my original pick until 2002 until I finally listened to it. Dark Child, what are you thinking on production?
Got the magic shit. I know if I could hit once, I could hit twice.
This song is just disgusting. I might be late to the party, but I just found out what the magic stick 50 is talking about. Yeah, gross.
Now just change clothes and go. No, stay.
I'm just gonna chalk this one up to Jay-Z trying to recover from being ethered by Nas. This was just a misstep. And now with that out the way, let's start our list with number 10. Okay, since I've started this channel, I've been a big defender of Nicole Scherzinger, but there's no defending this song.
When I grow up, I wanna be famous, I wanna be a star, I wanna be in movies. When I grow up, I wanna see...
The doll domination era was a messy era. This was the first song without member Carmit Bashar, but that's the least important thing from this song. This was the lead-off single for said album, and let's start off with the production, and you will not believe who produced this gunk. Dark Child. If you haven't watched any of my Britney Spears videos, again, none of you watched it, I've tore into Dark Child not being a great producer, at least with Britney. And not to mention the girls using the ha-ha, it's probably the only time the other members touched the booth. And the content is about how the girls, Nicole, desires fame, being in movies, driving fancy cars, and yet they're not satisfied with it all. Now the Pussycat Dolls had one more single, I Hate This Part, which is my second favorite song behind Stuck With You, but this song bites. Just be careful what you wish for. Number 9. This is a difficult song to place, given the circumstances and the terrible aftermath this era had on this icon. Let me say this. Candy by Cameo is an HBCU Electric Slide classic, and that song is doing the heavy lifting here, but this is lazy sampling, lazier than what 2022 had. In the song, Mariah's all over the place, spelling Kissing and mentioning how she has a sugar daddy who takes her around. And then there's Cameo, who decided it would be a good idea to recite lines from their song, except their vocal mastery sounds awful. Just give me the 1980s version. Now her new label Virgin was banking on this being a success, and this wasn't what they wanted. Glitter flopped and Mariah was dropped. Okay, she wasn't, but still. All in all, this is just a major misstep that set her back into 2005. Stay tuned for the best list for that. I don't even think the Lambs remember this, and it's best that they shouldn't. Number 8. I mentioned earlier that hip hop had an identity crisis this decade, and I did say half the songs on this list are hip hop songs. And the years 2006 and 7 was some of the worst years for hip hop. But let's talk about one of those songs from 2007.
This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot.
If you don't know who Mims is, it's okay, because there's not really much to him. I think the word generic comes in play, because he says the word hot at least 39 times. Do you really have to emphasize that you're even hot if you're an unknown artist? But the line that really triggered me the most was, "This is why I'm hot, I ain't gotta rap." In the song, here, nope. He goes on and flex, telling he can sell 1 million without saying nothing on a track, and how he goes around the country where he'll get all the love. And let me say, reading his verses was so painful and his delivery was not good. For Mims, he had 2 more songs that charted, but he never saw the success of This Is Why I'm Hot. And I came across this comment on one of his YouTube videos. He was so hot, he evaporated. That comment was actually really funny, I had to use it. Number 7. Principle is why this is on this list. Same reason why I put Everybody Dance Now on my worst list is the exact same reason why I'm Real is on here. Outside of the Rick James Mary Jane Girls sample, I felt like that was decently done enough, although J-Lo interpolating the former felt a bit clumsy writing. But then there are the ghost singing allegations. It was said that Ashanti recorded a demo of this song, where it makes me wonder why she didn't get the leading role. But the most controversial part comes in the second verse, where J-Lo drops the N-word. And yes, I've heard many Latin rappers use the slur, and those people don't get a pass from me. If Ashanti had the rights to this song, this would have been nowhere near this list, but because of the circumstances, I can't go back to it. Number 6. The era of nu metal. I don't think this is a bad era, but when you get songs like this, ugh.
Come my lady, come my lady, you're my butterfly, sugar, baby.
There's not much known about Crazy Town. They formed in the late 90s, right when nu metal was taking off. And let me ask you this question. Can a song be annoying and boring at the same time? The production isn't interesting outside of that Red Hot Chili Peppers sample, and the lyrics don't stand out. This could be a dated sex jam, but then there's that Sid and Nancy reference in the third verse to compare their love. I hope he knows he'll have to kill his wife then himself. Yeah, very toxic of you. Like Mims, they didn't have another hit and they broke up 2 years later. I guess they were just a product of this era. Let's move on. Number 5. Why 50 Cent?
I take you to the candy shop. I let you the lollipop. Go ahead, girl.
I think once he saw how successful 21 Questions was, he decided it was best for him to play into pleasing the ladies and decided to play the same formula for an album called Massacre. Now that album actually had some good songs like Disco Inferno and Piggy Bank, and I for one that prefers 50's gangsta songs more than the pop crossovers like this. And the reason being is songs like this, 50, and in this case Olivia, they sound very checked out. I don't like how he used metaphors in the first verse, and in the second verse, let's just screw the metaphors. I'm blatant what I want. But this isn't the only sugary sweet song that's on this list. Stay tuned for that. Number 4. And speaking of affiliates who belong in the booth and not the dance floor,
Now I'm gonna make you dance, it's your chance, yeah boy shake that thing, oops I mean girl.
many picked that Encore as Eminem's worst era, and this being his worst lead single. Cause in the song, M disses Michael Jackson, then takes back the diss, insert fart joke. The chorus is possibly homophobic, and then he decides to interpolate some of his classics and failing to do so. And not to mention the production is some of Eminem's worst. But what got this on the list is the drop off from Lose Yourself to this. He made one of his best to date with his previous, and made his worst to date with this, even if I think Fact, My First Single, or Habits are some of his worst songs entirely. But this is indeed a bad song. Number 3. The word embarrassment is the theme of the day with this song.
my hump, 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 my hump.
Words cannot describe how annoying this song is. Fergie's vocals, at least they're not all over the place like in most songs, but they're still not good here. And how she tells her men to lose their money to her bodily assets. And then there's will.i.am and his terrible production, as he makes Cocoa Puff references when talking about he and Fergie's relationship. A food reference that doesn't work. And what makes this worst of all, this song won a Grammy for Best Pop Duo Performance over Stick With You. Annoying lyrics, annoying chorus, annoying production makes this a bad hit. So bad they stopped performing this song altogether. At least they got that part right. Number 2. The things people would do to get a number 1. Avril, you know better. Avril, why? You had classics like Skater Boy and Complicated. Why drop the ball here? Well, for one, Dr. Luke is here before he became an obnoxious a-hole and predator. Then there's Avril herself, who reverts to chanting rather than singing. Her swearing in the first verse feels very clumsy and unneeded. Now I know where Olivia Rodrigo gets it from. The content is basically, that girl is not good enough for you. I'm better, prettier, edgier than her. And I can safely say that this song was a career killer. Sure, she got the number 1, but what did it cost? She only had 2 more songs in the top 20 since, in America at least. If it wasn't for its catchiness, this would have been number 1. But what is? Before I unveil my top pick, let's go through the second batch of Dishonorable Mentions.
Run, girl, I'm trying to get your body wet. Work that, let me see you drip sweat.
I'm honestly surprised that this song avoided this list. Just combine the Whisper song with horrible production.
You're beautiful. You're beautiful.
I'm not gonna waste my time with this one. It's just too easy to pick on.
Smack that all on the floor. Smack that, give me some more. Smack that till you get so.
It's mostly on here due to Eminem. Sure, Akon isn't good on here either, but for Eminem, he does not belong in Sexy Club Tune.
Sexy tenor, just pardon my manners. Girl, how you shake it, gotta play a like.
This song is just pretty bad, and I never thought Ray J was that great of a singer, and it's kind of funny that both Norwood siblings made the Dishonorable Mentions list. I miss the time where we were all 12 years old, hating on Bieber because the girls loved him, and yet those same guys dressed like him. But at the end of the day, I did not like the song then, don't like it now, even though I came around to Bieber. Before we continue, if you like what you see, go ahead and hit the like button. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well. And now, let's continue with the video. Number 1.
Soulja Boy tough.
One thing I'll say about Soulja Boy and his song, it's very important as it changed the game on using the internet to promote your music. Thus, he'll get a pass from me. And while he was part of the ringtone era of rap, you want to know a song from that era that doesn't work at all? A lot of people said that this was the worst song to go to number 1, and I get why. For one, the production is horrific, with the synth sounding like farts, and then there's the controversy of the dance. A year earlier, a group named Them Franchise Boys did a song called Lean With It, Rock With It. A song that's not good, but better than Laffy Taffy because of its originality. D4L would then respond and make an even worse song, dissing them. But back to Laffy Taffy. There's the food references. You could suck me like a Jolly Rancher because he stays hard. And the second and third verses makes it seem like they're at a strip club. Who knows? Who cares? Re-listening to this song makes me wonder why this song even became a thing. It's gross, it's disgusting, and thank God this group didn't last. And even though he wasn't on the record, rest in peace, Shawty Low. And with that being said, Laffy Taffy by D4L is the worst songs of the 2000 decade. Tell me what y'all think in the comments below. What are the songs that I left off this list? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Shake that laffy taffy, that laffy